Ethan was 10 years old, curious, bright, and full of dreams. He loved science, especially rockets and space. Every night he would sit on the floor with old library books, drawing spaceships and planets with colored pencils worn down to stubs. Daniel would watch him quietly from the kitchen doorway, his heart swelling with pride and fear at the same time. Pride because his son dreamed big. Fear because Daniel didn't know how he would ever afford to help those dreams grow. Money was always tight. Daniel worked 2 jobs, maintenance at an apartment complex during the day and cleaning offices at night. He skipped meals so Ethan wouldn't have to. He wore the same boots for years, patching them again and again. When bills piled up, Daniel didn't complain. He just worked harder. One evening, Ethan came home from school unusually quiet. He dropped his backpack by the door and sat at the kitchen table, staring at his hands. Daniel noticed immediately. "What's wrong, buddy?" he asked gently. Ethan hesitated, then said, "There's a science camp this summer. It's for kids who want to be engineers or astronauts. My teacher says I should go." Daniel smiled. "That sounds amazing." Ethan swallowed. "It costs $2,000. The number hit Daniel like a punch to the chest. $2,000 might as well have been $2 million. He forced his smile to stay. "We'll see what we can do," Daniel said. That night, after Ethan fell asleep, Daniel sat alone in the dark living room. The house was quiet except for the hum of the old refrigerator. He ran the numbers over and over in his head, already knowing the answer. There was no extra money, no savings, no one to ask for help. Still, he whispered to himself, "I'll find a way." Over the next few weeks, Daniel worked even more. He took on extra repairs, odd jobs, anything anyone offered. He sold his old guitar, the one thing he had kept from his younger days. He stopped taking the bus and walked miles to save a few dollars. Every step was fueled by one thought. Ethan's future mattered more than his comfort. One afternoon, Daniel collapsed at work from exhaustion. It wasn't serious, but the doctor warned him he needed rest. Daniel nodded, knowing he wouldn't listen. Rest didn't pay for science camps. As the deadline approached, Daniel counted the money he had saved. He was still far short. That night, Ethan found him sitting at the table with his head in his hands. "Dad," Ethan said softly, "it's okay. I don't have to go." Daniel looked up, eyes tired but warm. "Don't you ever shrink your dreams for me," he said. "That's not what love does." The next day, Daniel did something that took more courage than any long shift or sleepless night. He went to Ethan's school and spoke to the science teacher. He told her the truth, not with shame but with honesty, about working 2 jobs, about believing in his son, about not having enough money. The teacher listened quietly. A week later, Daniel got a call. The school, along with a local community fund, had arranged a partial scholarship. It didn't cover everything, but it covered enough. Daniel stood there holding the phone, unable to speak. When he told Ethan, the boy ran into his arms, crying with joy. That summer, Ethan went to the science camp. He built his first small rocket. He learned about engineering, teamwork, and believing in himself. But the most important lesson wasn't written in any textbook. It was the lesson he had learned at home, watching his father show up every single day, no matter how tired, no matter how hard. Years passed. Ethan grew up. He earned scholarships, graduated college, and became an aerospace engineer. On the day of his first major project launch, reporters asked him who inspired him most. "My dad," Ethan said without hesitation. "He taught me that love isn't about what you can buy. It's about what you're willing to give." Daniel stood in the crowd, older now, hands still rough, eyes still kind. He never became rich by the world's standards. But as he watched his son reach the sky, he knew the truth.